Hey guys, how's it going? It's Al. Week 5 on DraftKings kicks off in less than 48 hours. I'm going to take the next 45 minutes to an hour and answer questions with everybody that watches my show over on twitch.tv. So if you haven't, come on over there. There's going to be a link in the description down below. You guys know how to find the description down below now. And we are going to answer all of their questions as best we can, talking about cash game strategy, tournament strategy, this versus that, places you can go. We're going to add something to the show this week. I'm going to poll the audience during the show, and we're going to try and come up with an optimal start to cash games. So we're going to go for who the chat believes is the optimal quarterback play, running back play, wide receiver play, and tight end play. We'll give you 4 cash game plays as a part of the content. Go through a pick 'em over on Underdog. We're going to do all of the things this week. So thank you guys for being here. Drop a like on the video, subscribe to the channel, ring that notifications bell, and let's talk about some NFL DFS on DraftKings for week 5. Let's go.
He's a legend.
Couple of things before we bring in the chat. The first thing is, if you are not aware, we are doing a fundraiser for No Kid Hungry this season. I'm trying to raise $25,000 from our community, both on Twitch and on YouTube. For every $5,000 you guys raise, I will match $5,000 up to $25,000. So if as a community we can raise $25,000, I will donate $25,000 of my own, making $50,000 raised for No Kid Hungry. Let's feed the kids. Let's do what we can. 1 in 6 kids right now in America suffer from food insecurity. They don't know where their next meal is coming from, and No Kid Hungry does what they can to get to those emergency spots and provide food for hungry kids. Second announcement, the Smizz Gang Listener League. What are we at right now? Over half full? Are we there yet? Let me refresh this and find out. 1,900, and we are over half full. There will be a link in the pinned comment. There is also that same link in the description. That link forever is going to be as simple as smizzle.tv/league, all under case. It is case sensitive. If you click that, it will take you right here. You can jump in the league, $10, 3 max, no rake. Best tournament that you could find on DraftKings.com. So go make sure that you get in there, and let's go take a look at what Underdog Fantasy has this weekend in terms of their pick'em stuff. So underdogfantasy.com, they have a great app. Go to the app store, download the app, use promo code ALSMIZZLE, all one word. It's like right over there. Just type that and it will take you there. If you want a link, the link is smizzle.tv/underdog. Real simple. That'll take you right there as well. You get $10 when you sign up and make your first deposit to the site. So go get the $10, see if we can't turn into more. This is a pick'em slip. You can play as many as 2, 3, as few as 2 and as up to 5, and they pay you, like 3x, 6x, 15x, 20x, 10x, 20x, whatever it is. Guys that we like this week, I mean, Jalen Hurts' total yards is 300. That includes rushing and passing. I kind of like that. You can correlate him pretty easily with Devonta Smith and bring it back with somebody in the other team, DJ Moore, Robbie Anderson. We don't know if CMC is going to play. I'm assuming CMC is going to play, but like we're in wait and see mode in terms of that. They can't rush the ball. It's going to be interesting to see what they do there. Tennessee versus Jacksonville, very high total here. A lot of things that we could expect from this game. Laviska Shenault is going to be somebody who's extremely popular. 56.5 yards. Is that too much? We saw how much Dan Arnold was involved last week in his first game with the team. Now has a full week. Derrick Henry, 115 rushing yards. A.J. Brown, 65.5 receiving yards. Completions, you can only play 1 from each guy. So like you can't play Tannehill over 19.5 completions and Tannehill over 242 pass yards. So pick 1 there. The game that I kind of centered on that I like is this game, Chicago against Las Vegas. Justin Fields over 30.5 rushing yards. Fields was named the starter moving forward for the team. Way to get there, Adam Gase. Way to get there. See, now here's the point where somebody says, you know that Adam Gase isn't the head coach of the Chicago Bears. Like that's going to be in the replies. But like he kind of also is, because Nagy is handsome Gase. Allen Robinson, I'm going with the squeaky wheel narrative here, over 4.5 receptions. I'm not expecting Justin Fields to have to throw it like 40 times, but if he throws it 25, I think they're going to have to try and find ways to get Allen Robinson the ball. He is way too talented. They've shown the ability through Justin Fields to actually push the ball downfield, as Darnell Mooney had a fantastic game last week. I'm going to say he gets 5 or 6 catches this week, does Allen Robinson. And Hunter Renfrow, all he does is catch passes. 4.5 seems too low for him. if you like Henry Ruggs. If you don't like these, hey guys, fade me. Play the under on all. I don't care. This is just what I'm doing. I'm going to plug these in right up here. I like playing the overs because I'm stupid. We're going to put these in for $50 to win 300, 6-1, submit, confirm. Boom. We're in. That's my Underdog slip. Code ALSMIZZLE. When you deposit money, you get $10 free. Let's bring in the chat. And when we bring in the chat, if we have a mod here, can you throw up the 5 cash game quarterbacks so that we can see possibly what chat thinks is going to be the optimal start for a cash game lineup? Let's see if we can't get that done. What do I typically use max exposure for running back and wide receivers for my initial build before tweaks? So like for an initial build, like I don't need, here's the thing. Those things are salt to taste issues, if that makes sense to you. So like you don't have to do what I do. So if I cap at like 40% for a running back, you can, if you want more variance in your life at a really fragile position, go up as high as 65 or 70. And the amount that I cap at is different from every, for every position or for every game. Like NBA, I'll cap somebody at like 85% because NBA is way more predictive than NFL. There's more reps, right, in NBA. NFL, I probably stick to like 40% for running backs, 50% for wide receivers, about maybe 15% for quarterbacks, because quarterbacks are just my way to get to, it's my way to get to wide receivers and wide receiver pairings that people don't have. But like, find what works for you, right? There's no way to go. There's so many different ways that you can attack. Just attack with the right rules. Like, is it wrong to just say I want 2 quarterbacks on a main slate? Is it wrong to say I want 10 quarterbacks across 150 lineups? No, neither one is wrong. It's just what it's what you prefer to do. It's a salt to taste issue. Do you like chocolate ice cream or vanilla ice cream? There's no wrong answers. What you like. You think that Sam Darnold is a cash game quarterback this week? Okay. I mean, again, cash games are a lot more straightforward. You want to slam in as much points per dollar as you can. You want guys that have a high floor for what you're paying for. You're going to rely more on median projections and guys that have a higher ceiling. So we have a winner. So right now, the quarterbacks that we said is the optimal cash game quarterbacks were Daniel Jones, Trey Lance, Dak Prescott, Kyler Murray, and Tom Brady were the 5 choices that we gave because those are projected to be the highest played guys. And Daniel Jones with 58% of the votes came in number 1. Trey Lance was second. So we're going to head over here. We'll build this as the show goes on. So we're going to plug him in at 6K as the optimal cash game. This is chat's optimal cash game start. Okay. Doesn't mean you have to do it. You disagree with chat. Hey, YouTube, if you disagree with the Twitch chat, play someone else. If you think it's Trey Lance, if you want to pay up in cash because you can get there because there's enough value and you want to go with one of the other guys, go do it. Play whoever you want is what I'm saying. I just thought that this would be a nice little fun way to go about things as the show goes on. Thoughts on fading Cook and Jefferson and going with Thielen? Sure. I don't think Jefferson's going to be high played either at all. Problem with Saquon and Zeke in the same lineup. I do have a problem with that. I tend to not. It's very difficult. It doesn't mean it cannot happen, right? Now, it doesn't mean that it can't happen, but it's very difficult for 2 running backs to have a 25-point day on the same day in the same game, right? It doesn't typically work out like that. There are times when I will break that rule, right? Like, if Alvin Kamara plays Christian McCaffrey, right? If it's New Orleans against Carolina, and in a non-Bizarro year where like they actually throw the ball to Alvin Kamara 6 to 10 times a game, and Christian McCaffrey isn't hurt and gets the ball thrown to him 6 to 10 times a game, like you're basically getting wide receiver 2s with running back 2s at one position. So fine. And you can get after it that way because like there are paths to getting 25 points. There's way more paths to it without needing a touchdown or multiple touchdowns. So I typically limit, and I'm not going to allow 2 running backs from the same game unless in a tournament lineup is dime stack, not too crazy. No, in a tournament, you stack whoever. Last week on the Anti-Tinkercast, and we record that. It's live. It's a live show, 45 minutes before lock, twitch.tv/al_smizzle, or just smizzle.tv/live. Go drop a follow. You'll get alerts anytime that I go live, and I'm live 6 days a week during NFL, and I'm live 45 minutes before kickoff, taking questions all the way leading up to it. Last week, somebody said, can I play a double stack with Washington football team? And if for those of you who are there, my answer was sure, why not? Like, there's no reason, if you think rationally or reasonably that there is a chance that any quarterback could have a 25 to 30 point day, and last week Tyler Heineke had a 27.9 point day throwing 3 touchdowns, it's your way it's not the quarterback, guys. You're not playing quarterbacks in tournaments because that quarterback's going to win you the tournament. The quarterback's never going to win you the tournament, right? That's not who wins the tournament. It's these guys. It's having the combination of Heineke and McLaurin. And the bring back play last week, if you remember, they were playing Atlanta. So you were getting Heineke, McLaurin. You probably had like a value play of like Curtis Samuel, and you had CPAT coming back. So like the quarterback is just a way for you to get access to pass catchers and different combinations of pass catchers than the field has. So if you think that that's your path to get there, great. And any quarterback is fine if you believe that they have a possibility of a ceiling game, and you can rationalize it by saying, I think that there's a 5 to 10% chance of this ceiling happening with this quarterback, and this quarterback's going to be 3% played. So you're on the right side of the math in terms of that. Quarterbacks are Taco Bell. Exactly. Taco Bell only exists to sell you Pepsi. Sorry, guys, but I like the Dorito Supreme Taco. They give you all the hot sauce you can eat. Here, put some more of the hot sauce on there. I need a drink. Give me a Pepsi product. The drink costs more than the damn taco? So quarterbacks are basically there to get you access to pass catchers. Is that like restaurants only exist to serve you alcohol? Some do, yeah. And now it's off the rails. Chat's just going to talk about anything now. God damn it. Chat, it's a football show. We aren't loving Kirk Cousins this week. Who said that? Wasn't he my quarterback in first look? Or no, he was somewhere. No, he was in top stacks. He's literally in the top stacks video. The easiest way to leverage the field, guys. Figure out who the most played running backs are going to be on a slate. Taco Bell and Cash. You guys suck. You know? Think about who the highest played running backs are going to be. And that's a great segue to start our next poll. So if one of the mods can throw up the 5 most projected played running backs that are going to be on the slate, and we can figure out who the next optimal play in the cash, or who chat believes is the next optimal play in the cash game. That would be great. So like Derrick Henry, right? He's been good. A lot of people like him. So you know how to leverage Derrick Henry this week in tournaments? Derrick Henry's getting all this usage. You want to know how to leverage Derrick Henry in tournaments? Double stack Tannehill. Because if Tannehill has one of those, if Derrick Henry runs for 125 yards and has a good game, right? Like runs for a 120 or 140, but has no touchdowns, and all those touchdowns come to like Tannehill throws 3 and runs for 1, and none of the touchdowns go to Derrick Henry, you have now taken touchdowns away from all of those people who are playing Derrick Henry and put them into your lineup. You have actively leveraged the field at lower percentage combination between all those plays, and you probably brought it back with somebody on Jacksonville, right? So that's one way to go. Dalvin Cook, assuming that he played, considered a non-participant second consecutive day on Thursday. Let's check him out on Friday. Otherwise, you know where it's going to go. Whether it's Dalvin Cook that's going to be in lineups this weekend against Detroit, or whether it's going to be, Alexander Madison, who's in lineups this week against Detroit, one of them is going to carry with them a really high percentage. So you know how to leverage the field on that, guys? Do you know? You play Kirk Cousins, you stack him with 2 of the 4 viable receivers on Minnesota. That's how you do it. It's real easy. It's not hard to do. Skirk City, thank you for the prime for 5 months. Save the primes for the rates. What's my philosophy on player pool size for 3 entry? Player pool size? Like, I'm not even thinking about it. You don't have a player pool when you're doing 3 entry. There's no such thing. You're playing a double stack, a bring back, and a secondary stack. There's no such thing as player pool. Player pool is when you're doing like mass multi-entry. Who do I like more, Jefferson or Thielen? I like Jefferson more, but Thielen's great, right? I don't think it's an either or situation. I don't think it's a situation where, well, if I say I like one, I think the other one is poop on the bottom of a shoe. They're both fine. All right, let's see. Poll ended. The 5 running backs that we asked Chad about were Najee Harris, DeAndre Swift, James Robinson, Derrick Henry, and Leonard Fournette. Overwhelmingly, 60% of chat said that not Derrick Henry would be the optimal start for their cash game lineup. However, it would be Uncle Lenny at 5,200. So we've got Daniel Jones and Fournette. You're going to have a lot of money. 5,200, projects to get a ton of carries, also included in the pass game. Way too much usage to not score touchdowns, so there's some regression coming his way in terms of that. Home, favored, $5 running back, all those good things. Can still play Henry. Definitely. That's the thing. That's why I'm not building an entire lineup with this. I'm polling chat. We're going to come up with 1 quarterback, 1 running back, 1 wide receiver, and 1 tight end, and that's going to be your thing. Never saw the running back poll? It'll be pinned to the top of the chat when the mods post it. It's a 2-minute poll. We know DK and Tyler Lockett never go off together. Wonder what the splits are between Jefferson and Thielen. Have to look into it. But go look at the game logs. Go look at box scores. There's only 4 guys who have over a 10% market share of targets on that team. And in the background right now, I'm bringing up NFL Savant. Let me make this bigger. It's too small. Boop, boop, boop. Okay. 27% of the market share of targets go to Justin Jefferson. 23% of the targets go to Adam Thielen. 15+% of the targets go towards KJ Osborne. And 14+% go to Tyler Conklin. And then we have the 2 running backs under 10%. And then who the hell cares? It's like the easiest stackable team that exists. Red zone targets, Justin Jefferson. 39% of the red zone targets. That's a lot of percent. I agree, Real Trey. Then Adam Thielen, then Tyler Conklin. That's it. Take 2 of these 4 dudes, stack them with him, hope that the touchdowns go to the guys that you pick. But really, that's all that it is. That's it. Minnesota is a perfectly easily stackable team. Can we skip a bring back on a Darnold stack? Why? I mean, you can, but why? What's the reasoning? Anything can happen, right? But I don't know why. It's not like Philly's a bad offense. If you're gonna skip a bring back, it better be a shutout. Right? If you had Bills stacks last week, and by the way, Bills stacks didn't work, but if you had Bills stacks last week and you're like, okay, I'm going to do a Bills stack and I'm not going to bring it back because I think they're going to get shut out. I don't think they're going to get shut out. I never think people are going to get shut out in the NFL. You're liking Gainwell, especially if Philly's behind. So Philly can't run the ball. So essentially they're using their running backs on little swing passes as their running game. Do you have to bring back that Detroit lineup? It's so ugly. Detroit has produced... Look, okay. I get what you're getting at. Right? Detroit's bad, right? We know that. And everybody wants to play guys on Minnesota because Detroit's bad and they're really bad against running backs. And whichever, if Cook is out, then Madison's the start. If Cook is the starter and unencumbered, then we're going to go with that. But like, DeAndre Swift has 2 games above 20 points. You know? Jamal Williams has 2 games, 14.7 and 25. TJ Hawkinson, 20 plus, 20 plus. Yeah, he's had 2 stinkers in a row. But that's when you want to buy. You want to buy when everybody's getting off the train. Right? You want to buy when players are getting off the train. You don't want to buy when there's more traffic. Khalif Raymond, like this is where the problem comes. Khalif Raymond the last 2 weeks, 16 targets. The first 2 weeks, 6 targets. Like, he's been a good bring back. Quintus Cephas, double-digit points in 3 of 4 games. So, like, do we have to, like, is it ugly? Sure. Playing Lions is ugly. But also, nobody's on them. So if one of them gets their way to 20 points, you're on a play that correlates with your core play that most people aren't going to be on and give you a more unique lineup so that if it goes off, you have the best chance of, you know who was an ugly play last week? Oh, chat's not going to like, I know YouTube isn't going to like this either. Cordero Patterson was an ugly ass play last week. He was horrible. He played less than 40% of the snaps. Paid off huge. Right? It was an ugly play. Good play in retrospect, not a good play beforehand, and not a good play on volume. He had like 3 touchdowns on 17 or 20 snaps, whatever. Like if he went on the field, he just scored a touchdown. Not sustainable, guys. Doesn't mean that I think CPAT's bad. He's a very good football player. Has been for a decade. But it was a bringback. I agree. I'm just saying the results, like you're getting guys who are better, theoretically much better plays than CPAT was last week. And only thing that we can look at when we're making decisions in daily fantasy is at the decision point, up to the decision point. So I used to play poker for a long time. The easy way to explain is I played poker professionally for like 8 years. There's more detail to that because I never relied on poker for my food, but like I was playing all the WPTs. I was grinding like 6, 7, 8 hours a day online. I was doing it, but like poker was not my main income, but I played it as though I was professional at it, as though it was my main thing, much like I do daily fantasy. So, or have done daily fantasy for the last 9 years. So basically, if you were discussing poker, you never talked about the result because the result clouds your decision making because you don't get the result. Poker and DFS are both games of incomplete information, right? You don't have all the answers to the test when you're making decisions, and retrospective gambling is not allowed in any casino. So now we know that CPAT had 3 touchdowns. So, oh yeah, CPAT was the obvious play. Yeah, sure, now that we know the answers to the test. But the reality is, at the decision point, what we also know looking back was that he was an incredibly lucky play. And you do need luck to win tournaments, of course. The skill is what puts you in the position to win the tournaments. The luck is what gets you home. Just like the skill in poker is to get your money in as an 80% favorite, right? Hopefully as a 100% favorite. We're like, I got my money in with the absolute nuts and I can't lose. And somebody paid me off. Like, great, that's the dream, right? But like realistically speaking, you want to get your money in as a 70, 80% favorite. And then you're going to get sucked out and you're going to lose sometimes. And you're going to remember the times you lost. You're not going to remember the times, 80% of those times that you won. But you don't get the benefit of hindsight. So saying that CPAT was a great play going into last week is clouded by the fact that we all know the results now. We also know that he only played like 38% of the snaps. And that's rough. Chat is going nuts because like somebody tweeted that CMC is doubtful this weekend. Guys, we have 48 hours. We'll figure it out. We'll know. We'll know if he's playing or not. Here's how you deal with CMC this week, guys. Here's my 30-second advice on how to deal with Christian McCaffrey. If Christian McCaffrey is healthy and playing this week, you're going to play Christian McCaffrey at 8,700. If Christian McCaffrey is out this week, don't play him. That's it. That's all you need, chat. Come on. You care more about Cook because Madison's a lock if he's out. Yes, I agree. Samaje Perine, I mean, it's the same thing with Joe Mixon. It's the same answer. If Joe Mixon is playing, you're not playing Samaje Perine. Coach just said he's doubtful. Doubtful's not out. Much knowledge. Such wow. Big excite. Perine feels like a rug pull, even if Mixon's out. I don't think so. Evans going to play too. You can say that about every running back. Name a running back that's not Najee Harris that you can't say, the other guy's going to play also. That's the NFL. Seals Jones or Dan Arnold? Is Arnold the same price? He's 2,900. He's close to the same price. I would not play Arnold as a standalone play. But I'll definitely play him in Tennessee stacks. He's certainly going to be in there. Next poll. Yeah, let's do the wide receiver poll. Give him the top 5. Give chat the top 5 chat, by the way. It's not going to show up here, but it's already set up. Look at you guys are on top. My mods are on top of things. At the top of the chat, there is a poll. It will expire in a couple of minutes. Go vote on who the best cash game wide receiver is if you're playing cash games. And this is something that I did want to talk about this week. So people are, oh, you only play tournaments now. Why do you only play tournaments? Because the edge is gone. The edge is so minimal now at like the limits that I play at, and the amount of money that I would have to play to get enough unique opponents at $100, $200, $500, $1,000, $2,000, $5,000 head-to-heads is, to have the right weighting that I want versus my tournament play. It doesn't make sense anymore because the edge is smaller. The cash lines are higher at high stakes. The percentages, the edge on percentages, players who make mistakes are much lower at high stakes. That is not to say that low stakes players are bad, but view it as though it's a pyramid, right? I talked with Chad about this before we started this recording. View it as though it's a pyramid. And at the bottom of the pyramid, there is a much larger population of people. At the top of the pyramid, there's a much smaller, concentrated population of people. Top of the population, the top of that pyramid is high stakes players. People that have really large bankrolls who play for a lot of money every weekend and populate the $100 to $10,000 head-to-heads. There aren't that many of them. And a lot of them are amazing players. So the edge is very, very small. And you're going to end up playing 1v1, 2v2, 3v3 in most weeks because the cash game lineups pretty much make themselves by the end of it. Right? We've talked about this on the Anti-Tinkercast for multiple weeks. And, it takes people, how come you don't do cash game videos anymore? It's because the cash game stuff is obvious, guys. So the wide receiver that chat picked, let's get to that and I'll finish this this little diatribe. The choices were Double J, thank you for the 10 gifted subs. I appreciate that, man. If you guys got a gifted sub, make sure that you say thank you to Double J. Devontae Adams, Jacoby Myers, CD Lamb, Keenan Allen, and Amari Cooper. Dominating the vote was Devontae Adams, so we'll go over and we'll plug him in as the chat optimal cash game start. Danny Dimes, Uncle Lenny, Devontae Adams. We'll do the tight end soon. The tight end one's going to be interesting. Right? This is where chat is probably starting with their head-to-head games this week. So because of that larger population at the bottom of the pyramid that has a lot more people in it, if you are in my stream every day, if you're in my Discord at smizzle.tv/Discord, and in the sub-only channels, if you're a channel member on YouTube, like click the join button. It's right there. If you're a sub on Twitch and you have access to the VIP subscriber only rooms on the Discord at smizzle.tv/Discord, you are already smarter than 95% of the population playing at low stakes. If you're watching these YouTube videos every day, you are more involved. You have immersed yourself more in being a better daily fantasy player than 95% of the people playing $1 head-to-heads, $2 head-to-heads, $5 head-to-heads. There are less people going about it willy-nilly at high stakes. There's a lot of them at low stakes. So for those of you who have you're like, look, I play $200 a week. I play $100 a week. What should I be spending on? You should be making 50 $1 head-to-heads. And on DraftKings, you can limit to one person at each buy-in level. So you can, not theoretically, but realistically, play 50 different opponents for $1, knowing that you're going to make better cash game decisions because you're not going to galaxy brain your cash games because you're a smart player. And when you go look through those games on Sunday, at the end of the day, you're going to see people playing lineups you never dreamed you would live to see. You're going to see multiple players that project to get 3 targets because they don't know that they should be stacking volume at running back and stacking targets at wide receiver and tight end. They don't know that they don't need to stack in head-to-head games. They don't understand points per dollar. They don't know what their points target is. If you hit 150 in cash games, you're going to win more weeks than you're going to lose. So you need to be expressing that edge. And that's why I'm not doing cash game stuff. Because it's obvious. That's why 60 to 80% of chat so far this show, the first time that we're doing this, is on the right place. It's pretty simple. Could you play the single entry giant double ups? Yes, I would greatly recommend that you do that. When was the last time that I played $51 head-to-heads? I don't play that low. Me playing $51 head-to-heads is stupid because of how much I spend on tournaments. But that does not mean that what I'm saying is wrong. Me improving my outcome by $40, if I win 80% of the $51 head-to-heads that you're limited at on DraftKings, me winning $40 of profit when I've got $7,000 in play is not helping. It's like giving a whale a tic tac. But if you have $100 or $200 in play and you're making $40 in profit or $60 in profit or $30 in profit on those $50, if you're winning 80 for your 50 that you put in, that makes a lot of difference to your bankroll, a big difference to your ROI. So it's a matter of ratios. Because for me to get, the right amount of cash game exposure, I have to play like $15,000 to $25,000 worth of cash games. But if you're playing like Sharon, you guys see in the chat, right? S.A. Briandi. She plays a lot of cash games. She is a low stakes player. She is a very good low stakes player and tends to get the right lineup in cash pretty much every week. Hangs out in Discord. They talk about cash game lineups. Everybody's, is this guy cash game viable? Is this guy? She's like, guys, just play like Najee Harris. Just like, no, this is the right play. Just play the right plays in cash. And at low stakes, I guarantee you, if you play the right plays for 18 weeks of the regular season, yeah, you're going to have a losing week. There's going to be a week where things just go haywire, right? Famous, popular players get injured or, multiple chalk players bust. But in cash, that doesn't really matter as much Because if 70% of the field is on one popular play and that play fails, you can still cash in your 50-50s and head-to-heads because most other people you play are also going to have that guy. Now, in a tournament, if that happens, you're not winning. Tournament, different story. Tournament, get after it. Play whoever you want in a tournament. Cash games, definitely do not play whoever you want. Cash games, play the best players. Play the best projected guys. Get as much volume as you can into your lineup. And there's no yeah but, and there's no well actually, and there's none of it. There's no more red team when it comes to cash games. Cash games, play the right guys. Is it a 3 running back week this week in cash? Maybe. I haven't decided. If CMC was gonna play, and right now it looks as though he's doubtful, then it probably would be. Ask Levitan how easy can. Look, you can overthink things. He even said in one of his articles that he's overthinking things. Levitan is also not playing $1 and $2 cash games. Levitan is playing $1,000, $2,000, $5,000 cash games. You know? And the edge at those levels has been extremely thin for years. It's very hard to always be on the right stuff. And as I said with my poker discussion last week, I don't remember if it was on this show or a different one, you start to fall victim to like fancy play syndrome. You're like, oh, I'm going to play this play and I'm going to be a genius. So I'm not saying that Levitan's doing that, but like it happens to everybody. So like getting back to ABC is the way for you to improve. And like cash game should be ABC. Stack as much volume as you can for as little money as you can. Play guys that are those 5-box running backs that everybody else is going to play. Play the quarterback that has the high floor with access to a ceiling. See how many targets you can stack into a lineup, right? Your 3 wide receivers, you should be able to get 27 to 35 targets projectably out of your 3 wide receivers. Can we talk high dollar running backs? Sure, we can do that. Let's talk high dollar running backs. So let me bring it up on the screen. He's good. Do you guys need any analysis on Derrick Henry? Like, I could do analysis on Derrick Henry, but like, do I need to? He's going to get 30 touches. Some of them are going to come in the pass game. It's got a 50 total. They're favored by a touchdown. He's going to get 30 touches. Like, here's the downside. You want to know what the downside with Derrick Henry is this week? He gets 24 touches. He's going to get a lot of touches. Alvin Kamara against Washington, probably not going to, in cash, not going to go there. Anybody's available in tournaments that you think could score touchdowns, and he's getting enough usage to score touchdowns. Dalvin Cook, if he plays, if he's the main guy, he's the guy. If he does not play, then if he doesn't play, then everybody's playing him. If he does not play, if he doesn't play, I think there's 3 running backs in cash. There's Leonard Fournette, there's Alex Madison, and there's Henry. This is every correct cash game lineup if Dalvin Cook doesn't play. There it is. There's your cash game running backs. If Dalvin Cook doesn't play, these 3 are in play. That's it. And they're the only 3 that should be in your cash game lineup. Assuming McCaffrey not playing, assuming Cook not playing. Right? That's it. It's that straightforward. Why the love for Fournette? Why not? We've talked about him on like 3 videos. He's in Best Buys. Like, if you don't understand why Fournette's in play this week, I don't know if I'm going to be able to explain it. He's 5,200. He projects to get 15 to 25 touches. He's involved in the pass game. They're favored by 7 with a total of 50, a team total above 30. No love for D. Will? He's fine, but he's behind those other guys. Right? He's not a must. And the other players that I think are good right? I think Eckler's fine. I think Ezekiel Elliott's fine. You guys know that I think Nick Chubb is fine. James Robinson at 6K seems too cheap at home with as much projectable volume as he's going to get. Damian Williams is going to get some usage because their head guy is out. But cash games are pretty straightforward when it comes to running backs. CMC or Henry, if CMC is active, when they say he's doubtful on Friday after practicing all week, I have to assume that if he plays, he's not going to get his normal 85+% usage. So probably Henry, because he is going to get 90+% usage. CMC is going to be right. That's what I'm operating under. But I was asked in the situation that he's in, then what do I do? Playing 4 or 5 cash game lineups reduce variance or reduce winnings. I think it's dumb. But there are smart players who do it. And it works for them. So it's a matter of whatever works for you. I am willing to embrace variance. Like, cash games already have a very limited upside as it is. But it does lessen your risk of ruin. But over a large enough sample, if you're good at building cash game lineups and you're good at determining who the best plays are, like if it's really fine, if it's really thin, let's say Dalvin Cook and Christian McCaffrey were both 100% healthy this week and no hurdles in their way. I would understand if you said, okay, I'm going to make one cash game lineup with Dalvin Cook and one with McCaffrey because I can't choose between them. I'm going to split 50-50. That's fine. But rarely. How often does that happen? What was the cash game tight end? That's the last thing that we have to do. We're going to hit that before we get out of here. One of the mods wants to put up the 5 highest percentage projected tight ends. Then you guys can choose the tight end for our lineup, and then we'll get to scooting. You play one lineup and a lot of head-to-heads, 4 or 5 lineups fight against it. I agree. And that's why I said the only way I would play 2 lineups is if I wanted like a 1v1. Right? If I wanted a 1v1 and I really couldn't decide and it was a coin flip, then I would split. But like really, I always just played one cash game lineup, and I've won a positive percentage of my cash games historically. I think lifetime I'm like 62% cash games over, God, I started playing in 2012. So a 9-year sample as a 62% winner in cash games with one lineup. Because the weeks that you win, the weeks you bink, you win all of it. Right? If you have the larger amount of opponents that you play, right? Let's say you have $100 that you're going to play in cash games and you play a single $100 double up. The weeks that you win, whether you have a 51st percentile lineup or a top, 100 percentile lineup, you win the same amount. You're going to win $100 profit. If you have 49% or down, you're going to lose $100. So you're going to either win it all or lose it all. But if you spread that $100 over 100 different $1 head-to-head opponents, somebody's going to say, oh, you can't play $100 head. What if you play $52 head-to-heads? Right? Or whatever. $51 head-to-heads, $25 $2 head-to-heads. Against all different opponents. If you have a 75th percentile lineup based on your score versus the field, you're going to win 75% roughly, plus or minus based on margin of error, of your head-to-heads, assuming you're going to be playing the majority of the field. So the more head-to-heads against different opponents you play, the more chance that you have of getting to your actual number. Right? You actually have a better chance of realizing that actual number. So the cash game poll based on percent was Mike Gesicki, Ricky Seals-Jones, Evan Engram, Cam Brate, and Jared Cook. I'm surprised that Waller wasn't in there. But he is definitely not in the top 5% in terms of, or top 5 guys in terms of played percentage. And our winner with 46%, Ricky Seals-Jones was second at 35%. Again, he's going to run, he's going to play 80+% of the snaps. He's probably going to get routes on 80+%, 75, 80% of the dropback. So like for 2,500, you can't really go wrong there. But also right now, considering all the guys who are out, Mike Gesicki was the number 1 pick by what, 5% more from chat as the optimal cash game play. Will Fuller going to miss this week, and Devontae Parker popped up on the injury report this week, meaning that they are absolutely thin. It's essentially Gesicki and Waddle as the primary pass catchers for the Miami Dolphins this week. I'm fine with either one, to be honest with you. That leaves you with 5,200 in a defense. So like if you plugged in around a 3,000, like Raiders going to be super popular. They're probably the optimal cash game lineup. That leaves you with 5,800 to fill out a running back, a wide receiver, and a flex. You have more than enough money. $23,500. And that's already got one stud player in there. You can find a value wide receiver. You can plug in Henry with this. Like, you can do whatever you want. But as I said at the beginning of the show, and as I've said every week, cash games are very straightforward. You don't need to overthink them. And that's why we kind of focus on tournament stuff. But there's your cash game start from the chat. Guys, thank you for watching. I appreciate you being here. Drop a like on the video. Jump in the Discord. Join as a channel member and get access to all the VIP channels that we have in that Discord. Become a part of it. I'll catch up to you guys later. Look out for another video right there.
He's a legend.